This story was told by Miss Artie, a professional tour guide who once encountered something terrifying and has never forgotten it. In the world of travel, unexpected paths often lead to unimaginable discoveries. For Miss Artie, a freelance tour guide, this journey began not with excitement, but with a warning she'd carried since university. Back then, as a fourth-year tourism student, she had to plan a mock tour to a neighboring country. While she admired its culture, one city in particular gave her a gut feeling she couldn't explain. Something deep within told her never to go there. She obeyed the instinct. The project was eventually dropped, and her aversion remained buried, but not forgotten. Years later, as a working guide, Miss Artie's career had taken off. She was always on the move, accepting assignments at short notice. One day near the end of the year, she accepted a trip to Myanmar. She didn't ask about the destination, assuming it would be the capital, Yangon. But fate had other plans. A day before departure, while reviewing the itinerary, Miss Artie's heart nearly stopped. The city she had vowed to avoid, the one her subconscious had rejected years ago, was printed on the page in bold. She was going there. Fear gripped her, but she told no one. She was a professional. Besides, she'd be traveling with a junior staff member and the company's owner, who had decided to join the group. The journey began with a flight to Chiang Rai, followed by a long drive toward the Myanmar border. Once they crossed, a 4-hour drive awaited them. While en route, the local partner received a phone call that changed everything. He spoke in Burmese, clearly distressed, then turned to Miss Artie with troubling news. The original hotel was unavailable. Without revealing the reason, he assured them alternative accommodations had been arranged. And that's when the name dropped. The Old Palace Hotel. Miss Artie's knees weakened. That was the hotel, a former royal government building now converted into lodgings. She begged for other options, but there were none. Every room in the city was full. As the bus approached the hotel, the exterior was stunning. Warm lights shimmered. Elegant decor welcomed the eye. Nothing like the online photos she'd seen before. But the moment she stepped into the lobby, the illusion shattered. Inside, the building was crumbling and outdated. Only 2 receptionists stood at the desk, as though the place was all but abandoned. Miss Artie quickly checked in the group, noting the hotel had no elevator. Guests would have to climb the stairs. The rooms were ancient, unchanged except for basic furnishings. That night, while some guests gathered in the lobby, one began sharing a ghost story from a past trip. Miss Artie felt uneasy. Why now, of all times? Then the company owner quietly said, "You know this place has ghosts too, right?" As the words left his mouth, the hotel's lights suddenly went out. Screams filled the darkness. The blackout lasted 5 full minutes. When the lights returned, something was different. Dozens of hotel staff appeared from nowhere. All wore traditional attire, men and women alike. They stood in silence, watching the tour group with unreadable expressions. Miss Artie didn't know if she was the only one who saw them, but the fear was real. She helped usher the remaining guests upstairs. She and the junior staff had a room on the 3rd floor, less ornate than the guest rooms. Soon after arriving, the staff member remembered they'd left the guest coffee and Ovaltine downstairs. They asked Miss Artie to go with them, but she refused. Still shaken, she didn't want to be alone either. The staffer threatened to go alone, so Miss Artie followed. While descending from the 3rd floor, a black cat suddenly darted up the stairs, startling them both. They screamed and ran down, grabbed the items, and quickly returned. Back in their room, the junior staffer went to shower while Miss Artie reviewed paperwork. She noticed the balcony curtains were open and approached to close them. Though the glass door was shut, something outside caught her eye. The pool area below was alive with a party. About 20 people danced in silence, wearing antique, traditional outfits. The lights were festive, but there was no music. Then, they all turned to look at her. Simultaneously, Miss Artie leapt back in terror, dove into bed, and hid under the covers. All night, footsteps echoed through the 3rd floor, but none of the guests stayed there. They were all on the 2nd floor. At 5 a.m., Miss Artie and the staffer woke early to prepare breakfast. She shared what she'd seen. They decided to inspect the pool together. If a party had really happened, there would be signs, cups, bottles, anything. But the dining room was empty, apart from their group. No other guests, as if the entire hotel was theirs. They pulled back the dining room curtain and stared outside. The pool was bone dry, filled with debris, crusted with yellow-green stains. No party had happened, not in years. Miss Artie kept the secret to herself. When the group left, she told everyone to look back one last time. In daylight, the hotel looked completely different. Abandoned, decrepit, overgrown. Back in Thailand, she continued to dream of the partygoers, silent, staring. The same people, the same clothes, night after night, for 3 nights. Finally, she made merit and offered prayers. The dreams stopped. She believes they wanted her blessing, and she blames herself. She forgot her protective talisman for this trip. That palace hotel, once a royal office, was infamous online, listed among Southeast Asia's most haunted. Miss Artie will never return there again.